Yeah. Woo!
Man.
So happy to be back. Did we go somewhere? I don't even know.
No, I didn't go anywhere. Did you go somewhere?
Live! I got my jacket on. Live from the Queen of Corporate Governance's blog post called Listen to Business Pants.
Yeah.
It's a Business Pants Friday show here at March 27 Studios featuring analyst Hull Matt Moscardi. You were in New York? Why are you going? What are you doing?
I went to go talk to the fine folks at ICCR, the Interfaith Center for Corporate Responsibility.
Somebody had to.
Yeah, they're awesome.
On today's weekly wrap-up, Zucky's Sucky Week. Or is it, what do you prefer that or Zuck Suck Week? The Zuck Suck Week.
I like, because it's less predictable, Zucky Sucky Week.
Our CEO's smart enough to be bilingual, and your drugs are getting more expensive again. Yay!
Yay! That was sad.
Why do drugs always go up? Our show today is being sponsored by FreeFlow Analytics and FreeFlowAnalytics.com, the only platform measuring board power, connections, and performance for free. It's coming, right? The new data update is coming really soon. I know I've been saying this since 1944, I think.
What's not coming is the Riverside soundboard. So there's no sound of the audio. I can hear the audience, but they're there. Yeah. They're clapping for FreeFlow Analytics.
Actually, that's not even why. I gave them all mittens today.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you can't hear them.
Is it that cold in Portland?
I do have my coat on. You know, a weird wind came through town today. It brought us right back into the 30s. Just like a fierce, horrible, dumb wind.
Maybe you should listen to Microsoft's new sweeping demand that everyone go back to the office 3 days a week.
Is that happening? Actually, I pulled a lot of those stories this week.
I don't know. It's like 2026. I think after, the reason why we were all working from home was COVID.
Yeah.
And it's 2026 now. So we're like 4 years past COVID.
Yeah.
And they have record profits every single year.
Yes.
And record productivity every single year.
Going up.
Record CEO pay every single year.
Billionaires' wealth is like tripling every day.
So we've established that working from home still works.
It's helping something.
It's doing something.
Yeah, it's doing a lot.
And now they're saying you have to be in the office.
There's too many
2026.
There's too many happy women at work. There's too many like women who are getting a little bit more control of their households. We can't have that. We got to make their lives miserable. All right, let's
so dumb.
Come on, let's get to it.
Let's do some stories of the week.
I don't want to stuff the ballot box, but this feels like one of these weeks where I know what the story of the week's going to be, but we'll see. Who knows? Maybe you're feeling weird this week, but I'm going to start again in no particular order. Meta and YouTube. Here's the headline: Meta and YouTube found negligent in landmark social media addiction case.
Negligent.
A jury found the companies harmed a young user with design features that were addictive and led to her mental health distress. Oh, wait. There were two cases. One in New Mexico. A jury ordered Meta to pay $375 million in civil penalties for misleading the public about child safety. And then one in L.A., in the first social media addiction trial of its kind, the jury awarded $6 million in total damages to a single plaintiff.
Yeah.
A woman they're referred to as Kaylee. And in that case, Meta was ordered to pay 70% of the fine, YouTube 30% of the fine. But mostly this is Meta here. Yeah.
But do you mean that YouTube is 30% as addictive as Meta? Is that what that means?
I kind of like those numbers, actually. I think Meta, when you consider New Mexico and you consider Los Angeles, I think, Meta seems like 87% of all the horrors.
Yeah, they're horror. So they got 10% light. The sad part is there's only one there was only one kid that brought this, spent all the time and all the money and all the energy to go through this process. And it's always kids. We've
doors
got
open though, right?
Kids suing governments about climate change, kids suing oil companies, kids suing. Why does it take like a 5-year-old or in this case a 20-year-old, now 20-year-old, because when you file the lawsuit you're probably 18 or even younger. Why does it take like children?
Here was the genius.
To win.
Here was the genius of this. This is how they sidestepped Section 230. They focus on the product design, like infinite scrolling, notifications, autoplay, all that nonsense, rather than the content itself. So the juries ruled that the nature of the apps itself, the design of the apps was creating these addictions. So
that is correct. That's what all the science says. Yeah.
Genius.
Yeah, it's great.
Anyway, there was the takeaway here is, and I've been hinting at this for years, although I don't really know what I'm talking about because I'm a bit of a dumbass, but I've been equating big tech, big data, the drug industry that is social media to big tobacco, wondering if it's ever going to come. Now the headlines are asking the same question this week. Is this the big tobacco moment for tech? I mean, who knows? I don't know.
They kind of say that in the headlines, like about some trial every single week, though.
But
I don't know.
But this is one of the rare things in America that both sides of the aisle are kind of angry at. I don't know. We see kind of there's a majority of people in the world who are kind of pissed at this stuff. I mean, we know Europe keeps slamming away. Democrats and Republicans are slamming away. Speaking of which, Elon lost 3 things this week. Elon Musk's remember the X boycott? He was suing because the organizations didn't want to put their ads up next to like neo-Nazi statements.
Yeah,
he lost. Yeah, that got thrown out because he's an idiot.
Because of course it did.
Yeah,
but the point wasn't.
Wait, yeah, go ahead.
The point of that wasn't to win. That's the problem.
It's just
when you have so much money as one person, the point of that is to fucking make it irritating and horrible for everybody else to not
and
do
convince
what he said.
Dummies that this is
because
what's
those
happening.
Dummies actually just did what he said, even as they fought the lawsuit anyway.
But he was found liable by a jury for misleading Twitter investors. Faces a potential $2.5 billion in damage. Remember, he tried to get out of the Twitter deal and he was lying about everything.
Yeah, that was fun.
And then he also was ordered in the Netherlands. He's been ordered to stop creating AI nudes. So I don't know. Like, look, I don't know what's next here, but I'm just praying. I don't know. I'm praying this is their big tobacco moment.
I said, since the election in this country, I've said that courts are the last bulwark.
Yes.
And they seem to be the only ones working on the side of actual human beings and not billionaires and the Trump administration.
Speaking of which, I'm glad you mentioned the Trump administration. I'm not really glad, actually, but it's a good segue for, before I end this first story of the week, I wanted to like shoehorn this in because this is kind of the nerdy governance angle of this whole thing. So you remember David Sachs?
I remember? He's
the crypto czar.
He's
the AI and crypto czar. He comes from the corporate world. First of all,
such an ass hat.
Czar. Why czar? Why are they called czar?
Because they're actually secretly oligarchs or Russians.
Not so secret. So he's stepping aside. This is like the perfect parallel to what's going on in the corporate world and what's been going on for a while. He's stepping aside from his role as AI and crypto czar, but he's moving over to co-chair the president's Council of Advisors on Science and Technology. It's this new board that was formed.
David Sachs on science.
But how about the fact that it's the same thing happening? He's like stepping down, but he's actually becoming the chair of something. He's not going anywhere.
Such a fucking joke.
So I wanted to mention this board. They're calling this the initial dream team lineup. This board is part of the board consists of some of our favorite friends: Mark Zuckerberg, Jensen Huang, Larry Ellison.
I hate that.
Sergey Brin, Michael Dell, Safra Katz, Mark Andreessen.
You just named one person.
Thank you. That was my point. Thank you. That was my point. Remember, now this is the Office of Science and Technology Policy. First of all, 2 women out of 13. That checks, right? That makes sense in this new anti-DEI era, right?
That actually sounds like a lot.
And to your point because diversity does not just mean race or gender or whatever. This board is the same person essentially. There are a few people at the end. Jacob DeWitt from Oklo, Bob Mumgard from Commonwealth Fusion Systems that are kind of doing some sciencey stuff. But the rest, you're right. It's the same person.
One person. It's one idiot. And
it's cronies.
Not a single academic on the science and technology board? Of course not.
There's a guy
I don't know why we're parsing.
I don't know. Anyway, I just wanted
These
to point
are all
it
the
out.
people who paid for the ballroom.
I wanted to point
some
it
of their
out.
friends.
That's the first story of the week.
You ruined the first story. It was a good story, and then you made me not like it. How'd you do
really?
that? Yeah.
Well, I didn't know where to shove that Trump board. I didn't know where to shove it. I just wanted to point it out because no one else talks about this stuff. We're the only idiots who talk about this
You
stuff.
just stop that sentence. We're the only idiots.
Second story of the week, Trump's billion-dollar French boondoggle gets even dumber.
Oh, I had this and I deleted it because I'm glad you covered it.
So the Trump administration is paying French energy giant Total Energies about $1 billion to walk away from 2 major offshore wind projects off the coast of New York and North Carolina. In exchange, the company has pledged to stop developing any new offshore wind in the U.S. entirely. But here's what's weird is that Total Energies was already going to invest in natural gas and oil projects. So
Not gonna.
no,
They've already
already-
invested in natural gas, like refining. They're going vertical. So like from extraction to refining to transportation, they're trying to do the whole thing. They already invested. They're 17% owner of, they have a stake in some project in the U.S., and effectively, Trump gave them $1 billion to walk away from wind,
Yeah.
and they're
This is
already
sorta-
doing the other thing.
Isn't this
So
sort of
they're not-
unprecedented? Can you
they
think
just-
of any other
they can
example
put
that's
it in their
remotely close to
pocket.
this?
They
Can
just
you
got
think
$1
of
billion
anything?
to walk away.
Can you think of anything
That's
that's
it.
close to this? I can't think of
I
anything.
mean, what's amazing about this is the free market bought the wind energy, right? Like nobody held a gun to anyone's head and said, you must get wind energy. The free market determined we want the wind energy. We want to be diversified away from oil and gas, all the stuff, all the normal stuff. And the Trump administration walked in and said, fuck the free market. We are going to literally pay a single company to not give you a product.
And how about the timing of this too? In the middle of like a global fuel crisis. I mean, that's escalating, and we don't know where it's going to end up. This is what they're doing at this moment. And what about America First? They're paying $1 billion to a French corporation. The whole thing is like
It's literally
makes my
the
head
dumbest
spin.
thing I've ever heard.
This is so weird and dumb.
Can you imagine if you went to Stop and Shop and you got a bag of Doritos and then the manager of Stop and Shop gave the person at the counter $10 to not give you the Doritos, right?
Yeah.
Like it's not like New York and North Carolina got the money for not the wind.
This is incredible.
They gave it to the company to not do it. I have no idea. Is there a precedent for this? This is so fucking dumb.
While there's a crisis with TSA workers in our airports, and I'll get to this later. There's I'm going to talk about the Air Canada crash at LaGuardia. There's also like a need for more air traffic controllers, and we're handing out $1 billion to stop doing something.
All right, third story of the week.
Third story of the week. And these last two are going to seem to maybe they'll pale in comparison. The last one I'm going to like. You're not going to like it. The third story of the week: major outgoing CEOs are citing AI as a factor in their decisions to step down. I tagged this one because I like it. Because remember during COVID, we speculated that they were running away from COVID.
Yeah, you said that when there's
Right?
like a wave
like,
of
I'm
CEOs
out.
dropping down.
It's like no.
Cash
No,
out
thanks.
now. I don't have to deal with this bullshit. I'm gone. Yeah.
So now both Coca-Cola Coca-Cola CEO James Quincy, he's 61, and former Walmart CEO Doug McMillon, 59, told CNBC that that's essentially why they quit. AI.
Yeah, that's why they quit.
I just
Yeah,
love
we'll
this.
come back to this. I want to come back.
You want to come back to this? All right.
Yeah, we'll come back to
So
this.
I have a list of who could be next. So let's come back to this. Fourth story of the week. Maybe I can talk you into appreciating this one.
Never going to happen.
But I just want to yell
know
at
the
this
story.
guy. Air Canada CEO, and nobody names this guy, which I think makes it more fun because his name is French, which I think is funny. Michael Rousseau apologizes for lack of French language skills, but refuses to resign over insulting crash video message. So, okay, the background here is an Air Canada plane collided with a fire truck at LaGuardia. The pilots both died. From everything I'm reading, the pilots were heroes. They made this last-second decision that basically saved all the passengers, but then put themselves in harm's way and killed themselves. And the reason why I mentioned the air traffic controllers is the reality is that there have been only 2 air traffic controllers at major airports in the U.S. In the past years, and they're saying that they've been understaffed, right? And that this problem probably would have been averted if there had been an additional air traffic controller, because this happened after midnight or in the midnight area. And I did the math. I did the populist math, right? And there are roughly about 450 airports in the U.S. that have scheduled overnight service. If we added an air traffic controller for all of those airports for every day of the year, operating day of the year, it would be an annual cost of just $81 million. And I point this out because in the zine last week, there was a very helpful chart with all the CEO, all their pay, all their share earnings, all the buybacks. $81 million is like nothing. I mean, right? For an additional air traffic controller.
Salary,
right?
Now. Yeah.
I mean, think about that. I thought this number would be massive, but it's only $81 million. Anyway, let me move on to the story. So here's the point. I'm going to try to convince you here. So the Air Canada CEO, Michael Rousseau, apologized in an English-only video message. But here's the thing, and here I'm going to try. I'm going to try to get you on my side.
Not going to happen.
Air Canada is the national flag carrier of Canada. It is subject to the Canada Transportation Act and the Air Canada Public Participation Act. These laws mandate that 75% of the voting interests must be owned and controlled by the Canadians. The company must maintain its head office in Montreal. Canada is an officially bilingual country. English and French have equality of status. Quebec itself, where Montreal is, the only province that is officially unilingual. It's French. Quebec. This guy came out in only a message in English, so that all the French people there in Quebec and Canada couldn't understand him. The Quebec's legislature voted 92-0, demanding this guy resign. I just love all this. I'm sorry. I love all the optics of this. This guy, what does it take? Really, these CEOs are so protected. What does it take? I'm sorry. He should be fired. He should speak French. I mean, look, I know I lived in Montreal for 2 years. I was part of all these debates about there's a lot of language debates going on there that if you're American, you don't know about. But when have you seen a legislator like asking for a CEO to resign? I just love all of this. And I think I think it's crazy that this guy's been there for I don't know how long at this point. He can't get like Duolingo or he can't just like hang out at French speaking restaurants in Montreal and learn how to speak French. He's the CEO of Air Canada, for Christ's sakes. I find this is dumb.
I think that you're so worked up
He's
about
the
what
CEO.
It's such a
He
quaint
can't
story
bother.
to me. We have a president who can't speak English.
I don't care.
Guy fucking like he threatened.
But America
like,
has
we're at war for no reason.
America has no language laws. The whole Bad Bunny thing was stupid. We don't have any language laws. Canada does.
Great.
All right, you don't care because it's Canada.
I don't care. I honestly,
I love this story. This guy should quit. He should be fired.
Canadian CEOs are not U.S. CEOs. U.S. CEOs are making like hundreds of millions of dollars.
Yeah.
And this guy didn't speak French, and the entire country's up in arms.
Yeah,
right? We're in World War III for no reason, and by the way, Canadian legislature wants him to resign. It's fine. It's great. It's Canadian. It's the most Canadian story I've ever heard.
$8 million last year. It's not small.
$8 million. You saw in the zine the heads of that's the largest airline in Canada.
Okay, but Canada's population is the same as California. It's not a huge country.
And there's like 7 airlines in the United States that have like. My point is,
I'm bringing this up from a corporate governance perspective. What can we do to like have any effect on anything anymore? Like, what can we do to get rid of a CEO or a board member?
That's really, really simple.
That's what I'm looking at here.
It's not like
this guy should be embarrassed.
The Quebec's legislature votes to ask him to go away.
Yeah.
It's that investors vote to ask him to go away.
Well, this is a single class.
Not a single
The government
CEO,
does not own equity in this company. They don't control equity.
Not a single CEO is required to be on their board. None CEOs are required to be there, much less be CEO and chair in this country where it's like rampant. So investors, you want to rein in the CEO. You know who does that? You do. The board is who you elect to oversee the CEO, but we have willingly put the boss in control of his own destiny.
I'm just blown away by how
It's so dumb.
incredibly dumb this is that this guy can't learn. He can't hire a tutor half hour a day.
That's just funny to me.
What is
That's
wrong with
funny.
this guy?
Like you could just literally in this day and age, you should just ask AI to write the whole thing in a different language.
Okay, so we lived in France for 1 year right before COVID. My daughter started 7th grade at a public school there. She spoke no French. When she left public school after 9 months, she was bilingual. Easy.
But maybe he's embarrassed. Maybe he's embarrassed by his bad pronunciation.
How do you get rid of a CEO anymore? How do you do it? You have to wait for them to resign. They have to step down and they become executive chair.
You do what a 20-year-old did, which is
sue.
file a lawsuit and win.
All right, what's the story of the week?
CEO, that's the story of the week. Meta,
What? Which
YouTube,
one?
negligent, and
it's
landmark
pretty
social
obvious.
media
It's pretty
addiction.
obvious.
It's pretty obvious.
This
There's
is
no
like
other
could be story
answer.
of the year at this point, but yeah.
It's fabulous. All right, let's move on to good things now.
I tried to get you on my side. Canadians, I know we have like thousands of Canadian listeners. They love me right now. They love me. Well, at least the Quebecois love me.
I'm not against firing the CEO. I just think in the face of everything else happening, how is that the story of the week?
Well, two people did die. And 45 passengers were sent to the hospital. I mean, this is an important story. This is headline stories in Canada.
That's the U.S. story. That is the destruction of U.S. infrastructure, which is totally different to me than a guy didn't speak French.
Come on, let's go. Come on.
Good leads of the week. There's only one option.
You want to go first?
Yeah, I'll read it first.
Read
Meta
your
and
headline.
YouTube found negligent in landmark social media addiction case.
Here's
What was
my
your
headline. Meta and YouTube found negligent in landmark social media addiction case.
I mean, it's
Bypass
positive.
Section 230. I love it. I love it so much.
It's proof positive that we know these things are horrible for us. We know they're addictive. We know they're destroying our youth.
Yeah.
And yet investors have
We have to wait
willingly
for
not
this.
ceded all power
How do
to
they not
the
care?
executives.
How do they not care? I don't get it.
Well, first of all, they can't even vote. I mean, that's one of the things
true.
I was at ICCR.
Well, you're right about that. Alphabet and Meta, you're right, are controlled.
dual class.
Yeah. It's
But
like they're like castles with like moats and alligators.
So I was at the Interfaith Center for Corporate Responsibility,
Oh, you don't
which
have
is
to keep name dropping.
it's multiple. It's churches. Like I'm not a religious person. I'm an atheist.
Okay.
So I don't give. But they wanted me to talk about directors and what the nuns and the churches that they are actually doing more for shareholder rights than any fucking shareholder except for maybe John Chevedden and Jim McRitchie. Right?
No, I actually might put the nuns above them.
Like it's unbelievable the amount of work and
this is
thought
not a
they
career
do.
for the nuns.
And one of the things they asked me is that there are some people who are organizing campaigns against Google around privacy, around AI, around all sorts of things. And they said, what would you suggest we do? Was one of the questions they asked, as if I fucking know. But my suggestion was, look,
They were just being polite.
Google's a dual class board. You can't do anything really at Google, but everyone who joins the Google board, who's on any other board, vote them the fuck out of those other boards.
Oh, yeah.
If you want to pull a lever,
Follow them around and vote them out.
take their jobs.
Yeah, that's a good point. You know what?
Any director who is willingly enabling dictatorship in a corporate setting, how can you trust that they have your interest at heart? If anywhere else, they're happy to defer.
I hate to call you insightful, but no one else has thought of that. I really do like that. I mean, and I tell people all the time when I'm explaining our company and what we do, and believe it or not, most people are interested once you can kind of like trap them in a conversation about it. And I use Tim Cook always as the example because people think of Tim Cook as the CEO of Apple, right? That's what he does, right? But he's actually also a director at Nike. I mean, these people have different lives within this ecosystem that like, and they don't understand it because it's not like Aaron Judge plays for the Yankees and the Red Sox, right? Like it doesn't work in other parts of the world. I'm just saying that to your point, follow them around and vote them out wherever you can, and maybe learn from the Attorney General of New Mexico and this plaintiff in California. Maybe it's time to start like suing the listing exchanges. I don't know, suing the SEC. Like maybe we try to just like root out these dual class companies that don't give people any access. They don't give users or investors any access. So anyway.
All right. Well, we're actually making good time here. Right. So let's go on to Assholeiest.
I don't know where you're gonna like head this week.
All right. I got one option with basically half dozen headlines. Okay, so we're gonna move pretty quickly through mine. The one option is unbelievably stupid, fat mouth CEO assholes, and I got a run sheet for you. Okay.
All right.
All right. I'm just gonna go line by headline. I'll give you a little bit of context after each. Here's a headline. All of these triggered me this week.
Ooh.
FedEx and UPS charge fees for collecting tariffs. So now customers want that money back.
Oh, so they like literally added it to the bill. Like you could see like a line item.
Fucking had a line item that said the tariff cost, and then a second line item that said charging you for doing tariff things.
They should have billed the Trump administration, but go ahead. Yeah.
Here's where it came from. Again, another individual brought the lawsuit. And
this already happened. Okay.
This already happened. The plaintiff, it's in a lawsuit. It's a single South Florida resident ordered a pair of tennis shoes from Germany.
Yeah.
With a declared value of $140, received a $36 bill from FedEx.
This is what's wrong with the world, by the way. We're ordering tennis shoes from Germany, but go ahead. That's a whole nother topic.
The bill, that's probably Adidas, right? The bill included a $21 now unconstitutional tariff that was in the bill line item, and a $15 charge FedEx Customs brokerage and duty advancement fees.
What?
According to the complaint.
Wait. So wait. So they charged the customer to pay the entire tariff, and then they tagged on
then they put an
annoyance fee
because there was a tariff.
Crap.
And they did this for every customer during the tariff. So unbeknownst to many, the companies are layering fees on top of the tariffs while no one's paying attention, right? Like you just think, oh, it's all part of the tariffs, the cost of being. This is basically greedflation on top of the tariffs.
This is another reason why our company and these shows matter to me, because we basically do sort of live in like everything's like a mini monopoly, right? If you want to do anything, if you want to stream content, if you want to get your tennis shoes from Germany, you really have very few options anymore, right? You have to go to these corporate behemoths, and you have to swallow these fees.
So this is both FedEx and UPS did the same thing. There's groupthink inside of these industries.
You think there was like collusion on like
they just do the same exact. They see like, oh, they're doing it. We're going to do it too. But here, if you send something by FedEx and you want to know which fat mouth, fatuous CEO that you should be angry at,
who is the CEO of FedEx?
You have the option of being angry at Rajesh Subramanian, who's the CEO. But what you should do is be angry at FedEx's founder and dictator, Fred Smith, who's the executive chair of the board and has 57% influence over the company.
It's his company,
The CEO is not the one you should be angry at. You should be angry at the other guy. This is the executive chair, hidden role.
So what is happening here? Because I thought FedEx and UPS aren't they suing the Trump administration? Or is there like a plan to give this money back to customers?
No. So that's the thing. They've sued the Trump administration to get the tariff money back. They've promised customers, we will give you back the tariffs.
But not the $15.
And everyone's been celebrating them. But not the $15. The brokerage, the fucking $15 brokerage fee.
So they're
making money no matter what. They're
craziness.
Literally just taking your money. Because like they had to broker for the tariffs, and then they got to figure out like how to pay it back and all but it's all bullshit. It's all bullshit. They're just stealing your money.
Well, I don't want to get into it, but I will just very quickly say that it's funny that you led with this story, because it's the social media addiction and our retail addiction of like needing everything all the time, all at once in 10 seconds. They seem like the two biggest like plagues on our culture these days.
My wife is reading this book
about waste of money, a waste of resources, a waste of everything.
About kids and child raising. Even though our kids are older, she's just reading it because it was recommended to her. But
we get it. She knows how to read.
It's about dopamine.
Showing off.
and the actual chemical
Shopping
that
is a dopamine, right? Yeah.
Well, so the chemical dopamine is actually meant to be, according to the book, I'm not a scientist, but it's meant to actually be a motivator. It's not it's not supposed to be a reward. It's a motivation tactic for the human body over the last 10,000 years. As in, you do something really hard for a really long time, you're successful, you get this massive dopamine rush that makes you want to do it again, like be successful, right? Like to push the boundary. It's meant to motivate you to do something. But what all of these companies, retail companies, the marketing, the social media companies, all the tech bros and the fucking man baby tech, what they've done is they figured out they can give you a steady stream of small amounts of dopamine by feeling like every scroll, everything you see is a new hit. Every time you get your $140 stupid shoes, it's a new hit. When you order something on Amazon, it comes immediately. Yeah. It's a small hit of dopamine. What they're finding now is that dopamine, when you get that big rush of dopamine, it actually lasts. When like you did something hard work and the dopamine hit lasts. The small hits of dopamine disappear very quickly, and suddenly you're left angry and frustrated and more depressed than before.
You're also describing the model of McDonald's, where there's that initial satisfaction when you eat it, but then you're hungry like 10 minutes later.
And you feel gross at the same time. You're hungry and horrible. Like
it's terrible.
But
so what's wrong with me
that
when every time I buy something, I feel like instant buyer's remorse? I'm just like, ugh, why did I buy that?
I don't know. It didn't work for you. Next headline that triggered me.
I'm exhausted
Also stealing your money. Netflix raises prices across all streaming plans.
Well, Netflix also, we put in the drugs category, another addiction machine.
Drug, another fucking hit.
They gamified it. Yeah.
Here's my favorite part. The price hike is Netflix is justifying it by saying they're investing heavily in content, including live events and video.
They already have content, Netflix. Yeah.
Netflix, I did some basic math. They have 325 million subscribers, and they generated just under $11 billion in profit in 2025. Wow. That's profit, okay? Yeah. That's $33 per subscriber in profit is what they made. What they want to charge at the lowest possible price plan is an extra $1 per month, which is $12 a year per subscriber. So that's $4 billion. Yeah, that's the one with ads. $4 billion in extra revenue. But the plan they've put out is to spend an extra $2 billion on content in 2026. Yeah. So I did I sat with my calculator. I took out my spreadsheet. I tried to figure out, how's this going to work? It turns out that $4 billion minus $2 billion means they literally just took $2 billion from you to give to themselves.
Hey, you're forgetting the fact that this is the second increase in the last 12 months.
Yeah. 13 months.
Oh, sorry.
Come on, be real.
Here's the other irony of this is Netflix. These things have become like Blockbuster, like the video store to me. I used to wander around video stores back in the day because I'm old.
But I liked it.
Yeah, I did. I liked it, but I just like after a while, it's like too overwhelming. Like, and then I just go home and I'd listen to music. And I feel the same way with Netflix. There's so much content that it's
stupid.
After you're scrolling around and then you just give up because it's just like you just feel depressed. There's just too much. I saw a great article, I think it was in the Atlantic or the New Republic, saying Netflix, all these services, they seem like a chore now. It's like you got to finish the season, you got to watch there's this. It's just like everything it just feels like
I think this is my last straw. I think I'm canceling Netflix now. But
there's nothing on there you need, believe me.
But look, you don't get angry. If you want to be angry about the price hikes, you could choose to be angry at the co-CEOs, Ted Sarandos and Greg Peters.
Well, Netflix does need a lot of money to pay them. They make a lot of money.
They do make a lot of money, but it might actually be more effective to get mad at Reed Hastings, the founder and executive chair, who sold most of his shares. So according to Free Float Analytics influence data, he's now down at like 25% influence. But he's sitting on the board and has the most influence on the board at the company. And his co-pal, next to him, is Jay Hogue, who's the lead quote unquote independent director, who's been there for 27 years and has been voted out twice, and they just keep him around. He doesn't fucking leave. You want to be angry at some people. Those are the two most influential people at the company. Fuck Ted Sarandos and Greg Peters. They're not like the ones to be angry at. Be angry at the real people is what you should be angry at.
I mean, Reed Hastings still owns shares valued at $2 billion. So
yeah, it's just not that much anymore.
It's not as much. Yeah,
not
$2
as much.
billion. Yeah.
All right, you ready for number 3?
Are these all going to be dual class fake companies? Go ahead.
No, this is one that I said we'd come back to. Major outgoing CEOs are citing AI as a factor in their decisions to step down.
I love it.
Now, you want to talk about big fucking fat blowhard CEOs.
Yeah, I do.
This is you said it's outgoing CEO Coca-Cola, James Quincy, and they also went back to Doug McMillon, the outgoing CEO.
Were they really leaving? Well, Doug is leaving, right? He's leaving
eventually.
the company. Eventually.
Well, first of all,
unlike Brian Cornell.
Let's say that James Quincy, the thing he said was, quote, someone with the energy to pursue a completely new transformation of the enterprise is why he's stepping down. He wants somebody, it's AI, it's a different world. We want someone new with energy to do it. So he chose, 61-year-old James Quincy chose the COO of the company, Henrique Braun, who got a bachelor's in architecture and an MBA and is 59 years old. He chose the guy he sits next to all the day, and he's 2 years younger. He's been there forever. Yeah, that's the new energy.
Yeah.
Some new fucking energy.
Well, that's his way of saying, I don't know what's going on. I'm not smart enough for this. And I'm rich. I just can't. I'm done.
It's a way of saying I've made so much money. Yeah. I just don't need to deal with this. I don't know what this
is. I don't even know what this is.
But wait, don't get sad that James Quincy's gone, because he's happy to gaslight you, because he's actually becoming executive chair. James Quincy is going to remain on the board indefinitely. They did not give him a date he's stepping down in the 8K as executive chair of Coca-Cola. So he's stepping down into the seat in the boardroom where he makes almost as much money, works less, and does not have to give CNBC interviews about what they're doing about AI.
And he can boomerang back if Braun is a failure and everyone hates him.
Everybody's winning. They also mentioned outgoing CEO Doug McMillon from Walmart, who said he wanted to choose someone in the CEO role who would be, quote, faster. Basically
faster,
faster,
like running the 400 faster. Like
I
once
don't
around
know
the
if
track
they
or
did.
something?
I don't know if they did trials or what they did. But
Rubik's Cube, maybe.
McMillon is 59, has a bachelor.
Did you really say faster?
He did say faster, yeah.
That's like what a second grader does in Mad Libs. Like that's as imaginative as they get with faster.
McMillon, who's stepping down, is 59 years old, has a bachelor's in accounting and an MBA. He's handing the company over to John Furner, who's 52 years old, who studied marketing and got an MBA. So AI and the transformation of AI, and we need somebody faster with a more energy and to handle AI. McMillon stepped into the executive chair role, although he will sunset out. He's still executive chair, and he handed it to John Furner. Meanwhile, Walmart is a dual-class company. It doesn't fucking matter who's there anyway. So
I mean, I just tagged this morning. The Walton family just cashed out another like $440 million of stock. I mean, they just it's just ridiculous. But yeah,
mostly I just want to call out the reporting at CNBC. Could you stop saying they're not stepping down?
Yeah.
They're stepping over dead bodies of the rest of the people. Like, they're not doing a thing.
I applauded Doug McMillon back in the day. He is supposedly leaving.
He's also not gone yet,
He's
though.
Not gone yet. He could change his mind.
The CEO now. He's still not gone.
Anything else?
Yeah, and these headlines are like, AI is the reason. Come on. I got
what
two
else
more.
triggered you? Yeah.
These are quick. Perplexity CEO says AI layoffs aren't so bad because people hate their jobs anyways.
Yeah, I saw this and didn't like this.
That sort of glorious future is what we should look forward to.
Yeah, so let's not fix the nature of work and productivity. Let's just fire people and they don't have to be miserable. I don't even know what that means. What is he talking about?
Just in case you want to know the name of the fucking blowhard, it's Aravind Srinivas, who was previously at OpenAI, so
great.
He learned everything he knows from Sam Altman. He's doing his best Sam Altman impression, which brings me to the last one.
They probably hate their jobs because they're working for CEOs like them.
OpenAI Foundation pledges $1 billion to mitigate some of the jobs that it thinks AI will destroy.
Well, it should change it thinks to it knows, and it shouldn't just pledge. I want to see the check already. And what's the OpenAI Foundation? Who runs that?
Oh, that's Sam Altman and Brett Taylor, and that's the actual board. That's the actual
ridiculous.
board. Yeah.
Is that true?
Yeah, that's true. Can we actually address the fact that they're pledging $1 billion? $1 billion? Like that's it. 1 billion. We've already lost more than $1 billion worth of jobs.
Yeah.
Like way more. In fact, Block alone, Jack Dorsey cut 600 million or no 800 million worth of jobs.
Yeah.
He cut $800 million worth of jobs. The 1 billion you pledged barely covers one company cutting their employees because of AI.
It's woke washing. It's good
and you know what happened to Dorsey? The price shot up, and Dorsey's dual class shares enabled him to earn $600 million on his shares while he cut 800 million of jobs.
Look, you've been asleep for the last 10 years. Corporations in the U.S. used to woke wash constantly. Greenwash, woke wash, brown wash, gender wash. But we don't see these quaint little headlines anymore where they pretend that, and we don't even know they're pledging. I don't even know what pledging. That could be $1 billion over the next 140 years for all we know. But the point is that we used to get this all the time where they'd make it look like they're giving back, but we don't see these headlines as much anymore. You know, this is like old fashioned kind of pretend like we're the good people even though we're the bad people kind of stuff.
No, this feels like shit washing, where they're literally rubbing your face in shit now. Where they're like,
Sam Altman feels guilty a lot. He's always feeling guilty.
We took your job. Here's a handout.
But he worries a lot. We've been covering these headlines. He's always worried about what he could be doing.
Srinivas just said you shouldn't feel bad about losing your job. You hate your job anyway.
Yeah, right? And there's probably a future plan anyway to like to send you to
asshole.
Saturn and have you melt and die anyway.
So those are your options.
Right,
FedEx, UPS.
Do I get to vote?
Netflix. You can pick the headline, the sort of story that you think is the biggest fat mouth idiot CEO. It's FedEx, UPS, Netflix raising prices, CEOs using AI as a joke. Perplexity CEO and OpenAI Foundation.
Is Perplexity in our database? They're a private company.
They're not public. But he's such a fat mouth, I had to include it.
I really like who said that they wanted someone faster? Doug McMillan? I like that.
Doug McMillan.
Netflix raising prices.
He meant run the 110 hurdles faster.
I'm torn between. It's funny how actually Walmart. It's funny that I don't know if you did this on purpose, but Walmart, Coke, Netflix, FedEx, UPS, they're all kind of part of the same problem. You know what I mean? As far as
the executive chair problem, or
no,
a different problem?
The consumerism addiction problem. You know, they're all kind of in the same. Oh boy, I don't know. I mean, I guess I'll go for the FedEx and UPS because it's so shifty and so horrible. I mean,
yeah, it's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. All right,
and without any oversight anymore, and investors don't seem to hold anyone accountable, and so it's like, who catches this stuff anymore, right?
I mean, one headline that we cover.
Yeah, that's
about it on nauseam.
Yeah, so if you haven't listened to one out of 50 million podcasts that are available for this 1 second, you're not going to even know this even happened.
It's past you. All right, let's do headliniest winners predictions.
We're
and get out of
speeding
here.
along.
This is a good show. We got tempo.
I'm hungry, and you got to go somewhere.
Tempo.
My headliniest of the week. I was serious this week. Usually I just say something stupid. But how about this? I think we covered this earlier this week. Larry Fink. You heard of him? Larry Fink? BlackRock?
Vaguely, yeah.
CEO and founder, BlackRock. Larry Fink says, today's economic anxiety stems from people increasingly feeling like capitalism is not working for them.
Yay!
And warns AI boom could widen wealth divide without broader participation. So
what?
So Larry Fink is warning about this.
Yeah. That's the same guy who warned about all sorts of bullshit.
But what is it? But what does this mean for our future? I mean,
do you remember when he warned about climate change as an existential crisis?
Okay,
and then
it means
backtracked on all of that.
But if he's doing it, then doesn't that mean it's real? That we're screwed?
I don't know. I don't care.
You don't care about this. Why don't you care about this?
Because Larry Fink is another. I could have included that as a blowhard.
So you think this is
CEO.
woke washing?
No,
You think he's just saying this to look good?
I think he's correct.
Yeah.
I think he is the
Why
problem.
is he saying this then?
Because
He wants to go to heaven.
Look, they're all taking the cue from the tech bros who come out and hand-wring about Mark Zuckerberg was begging for, air quotes, begging for regulation for a decade and then fought every regulation.
But that's
Sam
because it
Altman
used to
saying
be- that's
AI
'cause it-
could be a disaster if we don't get it regulated.
Okay, but that
Now-
was pre-Trump where people were still pretending that they wanted to be good to the world.
No, but the AI thing is what they know more than anything right now is as every job gets lost, as every headline says these people got fired and replaced by AI, have the barbarians been at the gate closer than now? Because if you fire every fucking worker at Amazon, who is one of the largest employers on earth, and replace them with robots, what do those people have to do except sit outside your compound with your $20 million, security expense that the company is paying for and storm it to take your unbelievable wealth that you can't possibly spend in 20 lifetimes to eat? Because, Jack Dorsey fires those people at Block. He wears a hat that says love on it while he does it. There's nothing fucking grosser than the fact that he made $600 million with that announcement.
Yeah, billionaire wealth rose just in 2025 by $2.5 trillion. And a lot of that is due to AI-related stocks. What's your headline?
Bananas. My headline is the SpaceX IPO will be just as unconventional as Musk himself.
What does that mean?
So they're talking about how.
And by the way, what is okay? I don't even want to get stuck on that headline because it's like he's not unconventional. He does what every other corporate dope does. Is that he uses government money and and then he pretends like he did it all himself. But go ahead.
But I giggled when I saw the headline because the first thing I thought, will this IPO be racist, misogynist, and narcissistic? Right? Will it be?
Maybe, probably.
I mean,
and there won't be any There won't be any flack against it.
The articles about how he's doling out shares and stuff like that, and I'm thinking can you make a share of a company racist? Is that possible? Can you do that?
Here's my question to you: will we see anything like the WeWork IPO? Will it happen again where the governance and the founder CEO is such a horrible narcissistic idiot that the whole thing collapses? Are we going to see that again, or is just unfettered boy stupidity now? It doesn't matter.
I mean, when we got pinged by Nell about Jared Kushner joining a board, when literally the son-in-law of the president is added to boards for crony, overtly crony reasons.
My first question to you is that legal? I don't think I've ever. Does that happen?
I think it was all what we're realizing, what Musk helped expose on the corporate side and Trump on the political side, is how much was really just manners, and optics, right? How much decorum, a certain base level of that's fucked up, don't do it. But there was no rule against it. They basically said, if there's no rule against it, I'm doing it. And I'm going to do every single one of them. I'm going to rub your face in it. And you can't do anything about it because I'm so rich. Jared Kushner should never be on the board of a company, period. Obviously. Too many conflicts of interest. But there's not a rule. So
okay, but here's the thing. And Larry Fink is actually part of this. So the I don't have the figures in front of me, but the major institutional investors at XPO are BlackRock, Vanguard. The same, right?
Yeah, the same. Yeah.
They actually the proper move, which they would have done forever, would be to vote against Jared Kushner every year because to have a family member of the sitting president on the board, that is just craziness. That's just wackiness. So, but it's just not going to happen.
I'm just excited for when ISS and Glass Lewis contorts themselves in pretzel-like forms to make it so that you should vote for Jared Kushner. Because every element of the system that used to say it like, this is bad for corporate governance. Investors would say that, and this is bad for, and ISS and Glass Lewis would give advice saying vote against it, and politicians would say this is bad ethics. Every element that would say it is fucking cowed, and they're terrified. And they're cowards.
Wait, but Larry Fink is saying that capitalism isn't working for people, and that AI could widen the wealth divide. Now we have a case right here. BlackRock owns shares in XPO Logistics. The son-in-law of the sitting president is going to be on this board. But just based on what Larry Fink said, wouldn't they vote against that?
Come on, I could right now contort some language and say,
but
this is great for the shares of this company that sits in retirement funds.
So then what is he talking about? Then why is he saying this stuff?
Because it's all fucking make-believe.
Okay,
He's
let's
just
move
saying
on.
it.
I don't like any of this.
Winners and predictions. I got 2 winners.
This is a weird show.
I got 2 winners, though.
All right, go ahead. You do the winners first.
The first winner is easy. I'll just Total Energies, the French company that just got $1 billion.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
Yeah, except for the people who work at Total Energies who love wind power, and they're like, "Wait, what? I wanted
You probably are going to get a bonus.
all my trips, all my flights to New York. I was going to visit New York and North Carolina. I was going to go on vacation.
It was comped anyway. It's fine.
Okay, all right.
My second winner is weird. Why don't you do your winner first?
My winner is straightforward. The state of New Mexico.
Good
led
one.
by Attorney General Raul Torres and Governor Michelle Grisham. My hats off to both of you. Of course, it took a woman and a person of color, right, to fight back. It's ridiculous. And then 20-year-old Kaylee, it's not her real name, from Los Angeles. The state of New Mexico and Kaylee were the plaintiffs against these landmark cases against mostly Meta, but Meta and Alphabet. Let's not forget, it's not YouTube. It's Alphabet.
It's Google. It's Alphabet.
Google.
It's Sergey and Larry.
Yes, thank you.
That's all you have to know.
People are confused by that. They're like, YouTube. All right, go ahead.
My second winner is
now I'm making
sex.
fun of people. I shouldn't be doing that. Go ahead.
Yeah. My second winner is sex.
Sex. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So Japanese geneticists apparently recloned mice over and over and over again.
Really?
There was some theory that you could clone an animal, a mammal, infinitely. You could just, if you had the DNA, just keep cloning it.
Just build a robot. Okay.
They did it over and over and over again. And I guess we want a clone army, like in that Star Wars offshoot or whatever.
It's coming.
But it turns out by the 58th generation of mice that they recloned over and over and over again. 58th. Every mouse died immediately after birth.
Okay. So just stop at 57.
They cannot figure out, and apparently had total bizarre genetic abnormalities. So the study effectively concluded that mammals have to have sex for genetic diversity.
Yeah, this is like
sex is a big winner.
Right. This is why the royal family in England is always up to shenanigans. It's all inbreeding.
So I'm looking at you like there's a new incel community online that basically believes you don't have to ever have sex or touch a woman or like a partner or have a partner of any kind. Like, this is all men and they're almost all heterosexual. So I said woman, but they said you could like masturbate infinitely. What do I need a relationship for? This is why.
Okay. That's weird.
Predictions.
That is weird, that one. My prediction is that Air Canada CEO Michael Rousseau, who you don't care about, but I care about, blames both China and Bad Bunny for his inability to speak French.
Oh, I'd be right about that. It was China's fault.
You got to blame him. And we need more CEOs blaming Bad Bunny for things.
Yeah, that doesn't happen nearly enough.
What do you got?
Mine is weird. Also, SpaceX will definitely IPO, listing 666 million shares.
Okay.
Priced at 8008. Which is
why that?
With the dollar sign, it's boobs. Remember on the calculator?
Okay. I was thinking 420, but yeah, go ahead.
Per share under the ticker PEN15, Pen 15, which when you write out looks like penis.
Well, remember the Jeff Bezos' rocket did literally look like a
penis. It was a flying penis.
This is no joke. Google it.
That's not a joke. Go look at that. And the logo will be an X.
Okay.
With the really long serifs on the X.
Oh, we're getting into swastika land.
Not to be mistaken for a swastika.
Hey, I mean,
that's
That's who Elon Musk is, though. You're not exactly joking. Go ahead.
That's Hazelnut Rawless. I'm your analyst, Matt Muscardi. We are Free Float. Come back next week when we have a full slate of shows. We've got a Tuesday show. We got Proxy Countdown on Thursday. We got a Friday show. And we've got Mike Levin and Ann Lipton coming back next week for shareholder primacy.
Where'd they go? Who gave them permission to go?
They are dual class.
Stuck in airport lines.
It's dual class. That's all we got until then.
Do what Nell says. Listen to us. Come listen to this,
Goodbye.